I really thought I wasn't gonna cry. It's been one hell of a ride, hasn't it? Inside this group, inside the Game On Girlfriend Insiders, during this time, during the pandemic, when a lot of people checked out, when a lot of people said, whatever, it doesn't count, I'm gonna phone this in, we worked together as a group to make sure you guys still had goals. Right? We wanted to make sure that once we open back up, and here we are, I would call this this Memorial Day feels like an official open back up. I'm not saying I'm right about that. It just feels that way. As we kind of hit this milestone, and believe me, if we need to come back, I'll come back. It's okay. I said to you guys, I want you to think about what you will have wished you had done during this time. And I asked you that almost every single day, especially when I was going live every single day during the pandemic, that it would be critical for you to come out the other side of this knowing you had done everything you could do to make it as successful for you as possible, whatever that looked like for you. And that was the fun part, is everybody created their own goals and everybody did their own thing. And during this time, and believe me, Coffee with Coach isn't going away. It's just going to change format a little bit. But during this time, we have inside this group, which is not that big of a group, so I want you to hear these numbers, okay? It's an amazing group of women here. I love you guys, and I'm so proud of you, and I feel like I'm getting to know each one of you better and better and better as these days go by. We have launched 8 podcasts inside this group. That might actually be 9 by the end of the week, but so far 8. We've had 4 women on national appearances or national TV. We've had 23 online courses launched. We've had 16 businesses that successfully pivoted from an in-person version to online only. And what I mean by successful is that these women either made the same amount of revenue or more in their businesses by pivoting during the pandemic. We had women quit their corporate jobs. I don't have an exact count on that. I know of 3 personally, but I know there's more. So I didn't want to put a number on that because I want to make sure we're being super specific here. We've had socially responsible and conscious content being produced by you guys. I see it. I watch you. I've seen you on social media standing up for what you believe is right. And as we watch everybody send out COVID letters, not everybody sent out anti-racism letters. And it was like, guys, you guys did. I was really proud of that. We always tackle the tough topics head on. I don't think we shied away from anything. Beginning at the end of April, the beginning of May last year, when things started to really get serious and we were realizing we were up against something even bigger than the pandemic, and probably because of the pandemic, things that we couldn't run from, and we took those on. I was very proud of you guys. And we've continued to break down the patriarchal ideas, and I'm going to call them that, right? Even inside, we have some awesome podcast episodes coming up as well, taking that head on in the coaching industry, because you guys know I've had such a hard time inside the coaching industry recently, and it's like, well, duh, the entire industry was created by white men. Of course, there are things I don't like, and of course, there are things that aren't going to work. So taking that on, and I've watched you guys do that in your own industries and in your own lives as well. And then over here at Team Sarah, I just want to, you know, I always tell you guys to lead with service. We always say lead with service. Always. I really thought I wasn't going to cry. When I sent out that email last March, I had no idea what was going to happen. There was no way I could know there would be 150 episodes of Coffee with Coach before I stopped doing them live. There's no way I could have known that. And I had planned them to be just 15-minute check-ins to give you guys some sort of semblance of normalcy in our days, because all of a sudden everything was so weird. And we were only in our pajamas for way too long, all day, every day. And I just felt a calling to do it. I didn't do it to get something. I didn't do it to fix anything. I did it because it felt like it was the right next step for us, all of us as women. And for those of us that were scared, all right? And I gave away one of the biggest pieces of my one-on-one coaching, the control worksheet. I gave it away for free to anybody who wanted it. And for the first time, I had a lot of men on my list, which was awesome. It was really great, actually. And a lot of my friends from high school were like, I want that, which was so cool. It's always fun when that happens, especially since I don't live anywhere near where I was raised. But I had no idea what would happen to our business. Again, I did not do this in order to be more successful. I did it because it was the right thing to do. And I did it because, you know what, we all have our genius zones, right? We all have our little zones where we go, oh, I can do this. This works for me. This is something I do. And helping people through tough times is what I do. And it just felt like the right thing to do. And because we did that, we now have a YouTube channel. I always wanted to launch a YouTube channel, but I was like, what would I say? I know, funny. I know, you've now watched me speak extemporaneously for 90 minutes at some points. I know. I was worried. I know, so we have that going now. We launched the Game On Girlfriend project in September. And those of you who've taken that course, you guys are telling me you love it. I'm so grateful for that. We ran the Heart-Centered Business Bootcamp, which I was really nervous to do, but we did that in May, and there were so many women who signed up who were leaving their corporate jobs but didn't know what to do, or they'd been let go and they didn't know what to do. We launched the Business Accelerator Sprints last summer, which was amazing. We now have 4 cohorts running. We're about to open up the waitlist in June so people can start with us in July. We're really excited about that. And the Game On Girlfriend podcast has doubled in subscribers, and we've had some of the best guests. I couldn't have imagined having guests like this, starting all the way back with our emergency podcast with Karen Foote at the very beginning of the lockdown, where she taught us how to physically handle stress. That kind of felt like the kickoff for me. And then working with Dr. Peggy, as you guys know, and all the gratitude that we learned about, and all the different people that I tried to bring on the show who had pivoted their businesses successfully, to talk about how to do that and to really support you guys in expanding yourselves and growing. You know, and now I've never had a wait list for my one-on-one coaching before. We've done our taxes. It was our most successful year ever. And I don't say that to be like, see, you can be like me. That's what other coaches do. I know. It's not that. I just want to share with you guys what happens when you lead with service. And again, there wasn't an in order to when I decided to do Coffee with Coach. It was just to be there for you guys. And I'm so grateful to all of you who showed up day in and day out, all the way to showing up on the very last day on a national holiday here in the States, right? That we did that. And I just really want to honor the community that's been created and honor the friendships and relationships that have been created. I know there are some lifelong friendships going on in here now at this point as well, which I'm really happy about. This morning, one of the things that I did want to leave you guys with, because your goals aren't going to stop, right? And they're not going to change, and you're going to be tempted to get frenetic and crazy, okay? Even though we're going into summer, right? And for those of you that need support, like I said, we do have another cohort of the sprints that runs per quarter. So July, August, and September to set you up for the holidays. If you want to join us, just DM me and let me know. And I really hope you guys I saw some of you guys as well supporting each other. I saw other YouTube channels get launched. I saw free content being produced. I saw people showing up for each other just for the sake of showing up. So I do want to acknowledge that as well. And I hope that we as a group, as the Game On Girlfriend Insiders, that we continue to lead the way in service. Right? That we continue to break down these walls of BS and all the craziness, right? That can be inside of business that's smarmy or slimy or does not feel right to you. Keep up that charge. Now, that doesn't mean run from the things that scare you in your business. Selling is hard for a lot of people. We may or may not have the Girlfriend's Guide to Marketing and Sales coming your way very shortly. But those are the things, you guys, I just want you to continue to push against the edges of what you're afraid of while staying true to yourself. Okay, and you will be staying true to yourself if you actually continue to push the envelope, right? When you don't feel like sending that newsletter because you're nervous and you do it anyway. When you don't feel like recording that video because you're nervous and you do it anyway. When you're not sure who's going to show up, but that's not the point, and you do it anyway. Okay, and I'm just going to share one little story about that. This came up recently with a one-on-one client I'm working with, where she had produced something wonderful and she was really upset. Like, so many people had signed up and just a few people showed up. And it was really like annoying, right? Like, we've all had that experience, right? You're like, really? 2 people and a dog? Are you kidding me? Right? Like 800 people signed up or whatever. And I got to share a story I haven't shared very much. I think I shared this at the beginning of the pandemic, but I'm not sure. This was one of my mentors, actually, who right after 9/11 here in New York City, not here, I'm not in New York City, but here on the East Coast, but at the time it was inside New York City, she wanted to host trauma support, like how to heal from trauma and how to really deal with post-traumatic stress and those sorts of things, specifically for all the first responders who had lost someone they loved or who were still injured and still dealing with the overall shock and trauma that we were all feeling at that time. And she rented out an entire church in Manhattan, like no joke, an entire church. She thought everyone was going to show up. People were like, yeah, we'll be there, we'll be there. She was so excited. She put this together to be of service. It was completely free. 2 people showed up inside the whole church. 2 human beings walked into that church that night after weeks of preparation, you guys, weeks of preparation, talking about it, putting up flyers, all that stuff. Now, in that moment, she had a choice. right? She could have quit and just said, forget it, we're not doing it tonight. There's punch and cookies in the back or whatever. She could have felt sorry for herself and been really upset. And instead, she said, there are two human beings there are two human beings in front of me who need what I have. And they showed up and they deserve to get what I have. And she delivered the entire workshop to two people inside of a big, huge, empty church. She gave it her all. She delivered it as if the entire church were full. And at the end of the workshop, these two human beings who had needed what she said so desperately said to her, please do this again. There are so many people that we know that need to hear this. Please do this again. And she said, okay. They're like, we will get people here. We will make this happen. And they did it again 2 weeks later, and 2,000 people showed up. And she was able to deliver and support and help to that many people who then went out to share what she had taught them, right? And you can imagine the ripple effect. And of course, her practice was absolutely full after that. Again, not why you do it. So I want to challenge you guys. After listening to that story, it's very similar to the starfish story. I know, I made a difference with that one. I made a difference with that one, which some people feel is overtold in my industry. I completely disagree. I don't think we can hear enough that every freaking person you help, every single one, matters. And if you live your life that way and you work in your business that way and you show up for who shows up for you, it will change your life and it will change your bank account. But you've got to show up 100%. Whether it's 2 people, 2,000 people, 200,000 people, or 2 million people, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you listen to what you say. You listen to who you're advocating for. You believe in what you do and you are using your talents to the fullest and you are challenging yourself to step outside your comfort zone and show up. And that is my challenge for you all through this summer, since I'm not going to have live access to you like this, right? You're going to have to start showing up for you. And this is not about bags and shoes or jewelry, as much as I like it, right? No. This is about your one and only shot at this life. You only get one. What the hell are you doing? Here's my challenge for you just this week. We launch Sarah Uncut next Monday. We just saw the rough cut of the video. I'm so excited. Sarah Uncut launches on Monday. And I'll be going through my morning routine, like a behind the scenes. Yes, it's me without makeup. It's me in my sweaty workout clothes. It's all the real deal. So this, it's the last time you'll see with all the, okay? It seriously is Sarah Uncut. Good times, good times, good times. It's not about looking good. And it's not about having the most social media followers. And it's not about having the prettiest Instagram pictures that you've filtered to the nines to the point people can't recognize you, right? And believe me, I use those filters too. That video filter is my favorite thing in the world. Like, I'll tell you about it every time I use it. I'm like, can this just be on my face all the days, right? And we can joke around about it and do that. But if you actually buy into the idea that that's you, then you're not serving anybody. You're worrying about you, right? Do you get that? And I remember once I was also wearing red. It was very early on in the pandemic, and I yelled at you guys, your marketing is not about you. Stop being afraid to market. Do not be afraid to sell your products and services. You guys, the world needs them. And this BS idea that's been implanted in women's heads that it's a hobby or it's cute or you can do it because your husband makes the real money. All that crap that's going on out there, it's time to knock it the F down. That's what I want to see out of you guys in the coming months. I mean it. If you need to get accountability, come join our sprints and get in accountability and get this sucker done. Or create your own. Go be with a friend. Call them every Monday. Be like, what am I doing? Check in with people. Get this done and stop hiding. And stop letting the patriarchy tell you that your business is cute or fluffy or sweet. Go do bad things to yourself in the dark. That's my response to people who say stuff like that. I always like that. It's a little bit nicer than the other one. Go do bad things to yourself in the dark, you people who say things like that to women. No, no, this is real. And you can make a dang good living if and when you lead with service. And what's step number 2? I hope to God you guys know this after all these episodes. Self-trust. I remember when we were talking about money, we were talking about debt, and I said to you guys, you are the only one who knows whether or not you can pay that debt back in the time that you need to. Do you remember that? We were talking about, like, sometimes, you know, in business it's totally appropriate to take on debt. Like, it's the wisest thing you can do. But that comes down to self-trust, right? It's like money's so cheap right now. It might be super wise, only you will know. And for some of you, it's really stupid, and don't do it if it's stupid, right? Sometimes it's brilliant. Like, you're looking at this going, oh my gosh, I can make this back in 6 months. So you get the 0% for 6-month interest rate on a credit card, deal with it, pay it back, free money. Why would you not do that? Because you don't trust yourself to make it back. That would be why you don't do that. Does that make sense? Yeah, and I'm not, by the way, please don't hear that as run out and go get those. That's not what I'm saying. If there's something you know you need to learn, if there's something you know you need to have in order to make your business successful, and you trust yourself to apply what you learn at the rate that you will need in order to pay that back in time, why would you not do that? Unless you don't trust yourself. And that goes for anything, right? That goes trusting yourself to make the video, trusting yourself to launch the podcast, trusting yourself to launch the course, trusting yourself to put up your website, trusting yourself to reach out to the media outlets you want. It all comes back to self-trust. It's not always just about spending money or not spending money, right? Sometimes it's about spending your time. Sometimes it's about reaching out and getting the rejections. But it's about whether or not you trust yourself to make it happen. You got to reach out there and do what there is for you to do in order to be successful, because people need you. There might be other people who do what you do, but they need you. And if they don't know about you because you're too shy to say, oh, I'm here and I offer this, you hurt them. For so many of you who've created your businesses from your heart based on what you're good at and what you love and what you've learned in your own life experiences, you have no idea what that impact is on other people. Do you know how many times I've been on a stage and I've been like, Nipa did this, right? It makes a difference. Now, I'd get up and still teach the same content, but isn't it nice to know I had a professional by my side to help me make the best decisions? That's the same for how your website's designed, for how your photographs are taken, whether they're natural or superposed. That's how you do in your marketing content, right? And if you need support in marketing, there's a lot of people out there who can support you in marketing. If you need help with sales, go learn how to sell. If you need to learn how to be on camera, go learn how to be on camera. There's nothing out here that you can't learn how to do if you trust yourself to apply what you learn. And if you took nothing out of these 15 months, I don't even know if I'm counting. Am I getting that right? Yeah, I think I am. But if you've learned nothing inside of this but that, I will be very, very happy. Because what all of these patriarchal systems have done, and the reason I keep going back to this is, you guys, business was designed the way that we've bought into it. Let me say it that way. That system was designed by white men. It was designed by the madmen, right? That's how this system was designed, and we're still acting like that's how it's supposed to go. I almost said it. Bullpucky, okay? That's not true at all. And women owning our place inside the business world and reworking the business world, which is one of the things I hope this pandemic will allow us to have even more choice and more power in. And why corporations are making people go back to work is beyond me. But that's another conversation for another time. It makes no sense to me at all, especially when you can have meetings when needed, etc. Anyway, it's time for us to use this jumping point that we've had here to start to alter the way the world views business. Business is a service. Business makes our life great. Everything from Nestle Toll House cookies, right? And those guys marketed all through the Great Depression. That's why they're still #1. Anywho, but looking at like everything from chocolate chips to my favorite pink scissors, which I show you guys all the time, and the microphones that I use, the camera that's been created, the lights that are all around me right now, the shirt that I'm wearing, the jewelry somebody made. All of that comes from creative, loving people like us. And it's time for us to own our space in here and to not be afraid of it and to not pretend we're not good at it and like hide from money and pretend we can't be the CEOs of our business and like we can't push our quarterly numbers out to our spouses because, oh my God, stop it. This is our space. We own this space and we can run this space really well. All comes down to self-trust. I love seeing, by the way, the relationships that you guys have formed inside this group. That's not going to go anywhere. Like I said, I may or may not pop in live here and there just because I love lives. They're my favorite thing. I really, really love them. But I'm really proud of you guys for turning to each other when you need services. I love seeing that. That makes me so happy. That's what it's all about, right? And don't be afraid to get bigger. Always. I'm going to be doing that this year. I think you guys know I've hired my 8-figure coach, and we're really working hard to just expand this same message out. So if you guys know people who need to hear that they need to lead with service, if you know people who are afraid to market, if you know people who are afraid to talk to their spouses or themselves about money, let them know that we're here. I am here to serve you guys and help you catapult yourselves to the next level. Don't be afraid of that. I love you guys. I really care about this community and I want to see you guys flourish. Please learn from each other, trust each other, pay each other. I'm going to challenge you guys not to barter. Okay, I'm really serious about that. And it's not because it's stingy and mean. Honor each other's wisdom. Honor each other's talents. Pay each other. That matters. All right, ladies, I love you all to pieces. This concludes the live version of Coffee with Coach, but every single Monday morning we will be launching something new for you. I will still be here on video for you. It just won't be live so that you can go live your life and not worry about whether or not you caught it live. Know that I love you guys. I care about you. I'm always here. You can post a message in the group at any time. All right, you guys, make this an amazing summer. Don't be afraid. And if you need us, we'll be here. All right? Bye, guys. I love you.